am what happens if you tell your children they can be anything!
I'm a comedian, a writer, a cabaret performer, whatever that means, and I'm a bit like if they recast Jaws with the Luna Park sign.
Because I'm an inspiration, an aberration, and an unbeatable argument for retroactive birth control. I'm a proud gay man, but I'm also the reason there's a lock on the closet door.
Drag has always been about rebellion. Cabaret was the original punk before electric music came in. But you know you're doing something right when you're pissing someone off. I do get a lot of love and I get a lot of hate. I'm a very Swarovski-studded bullseye for the public, for many things. My community is at the crest of a zeitgeist right now for the wrong reasons, and we're a political football, but we're not allowed to comment on the game. I welcome the audience in with every show with Welcome Home. And that's important for queer people to understand that it's a safe place. And it's important for straight people or anyone who isn't part of that queer world or views me as something foreign to realise that it's relatable.
Even I, Reuben Kaye, OAM, OBE, PhD, IBS, ADHD, PTSD, HPV.
We can't laugh at each other and ourselves if we don't have some bedrock of trust.
What's your name, my love? Luke. I can't live, and living is without you.
And then the springs of the trampoline are set for me to then trust my audience enough to climb all over them.
Hold on to me! I can't go! I can't give anymore!
I had a dress-up cabinet that could have rivaled Greta Garbo growing up. My parents just saw something colourful and I'd grab it and there'd be a show.
We were in Sydney for Mardi Gras. Anyone in Sydney for Mardi Gras? Walking wounded, limping wounded. My poor little Eastern European Jewish parents. They spent the 40s running away from angry men in leather, and I spent 2 weekends in Sydney running towards them.
My family comes from Germany and Russia. They escaped the Second World War. My grandfather toured with the Yiddish theatre. That's where cabaret sort of really, most notably, comes from. It's a response to, oppression. It's dark humour, and I was raised in that.
We acknowledge the known 7 stages of grief. We know them well. Anger, denial, Krispy Kremes, poppers, hope. But what we don't know is that there is an 8th stage of grief. The 8th stage of grief is cabaret, where no one has a good time. Nothing thrills me anymore.
You look at the 7 stages of grief, and the last one, 7, is acceptance. So what do you do after acceptance? You make it profitable. It's an art form with no rules. The only sort of pillar of cabaret is it has to be truthful and honest, and it has to have direct address from the performer to the audience.
You look confused, mate. Did you think this was the Umbilical Brothers? Sorry, the only 2 men are in here and they are not on speaking terms. My therapist hates that joke. But her, right? If I'm the one who does all the talking, why are you the with the beach house, Helen?
It's sort of, for me, the art form with the least amount in the way between the performer and the audience.
Mama dabbed a little bit of perfume on my neck and she kissed my cheek.
That's the beauty of cabaret. It's right in that fine line between love, lust, filth, edginess. It all has high stakes but no consequence.
And I select a modest black suede ankle boot. Excuse me. Do you have this in a size 12? Sir? is a woman's shoe. In fact, let's not confuse sex and gender. Has the shoe given you its pronouns? Has the shoe told you its place on the long list of medically approved genders that increases day by day? Or, and this is just a theory, is it just a show?
Not all comedy is political, but I think anyone who's on the fringes of society, purely by being themselves, that is an inherently political act. And I don't want to have my life be political, but just by the virtue of the fact that some of my rights are limited and some of the rights of members of my community are limited, my very existence is political, so my work is political. I was always a visible child in terms of queer visibility, a loud, exuberant kid, and I couldn't understand why it wasn't being received the way I thought it should be received. And you can argue that that might have extended into my adult life. The responsibility of being visible and the load that that carries gives its own reward. You get that back in spades when an audience member comes up and says thank you for being you so that I can be who I am.